Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. HTM here with an update on the latest ESO patch release. That's 6.1.6. Pretty interesting update, though it is small, but perhaps a sign of things to come and maybe future balance changes. So I wanted to go over these initial changes with you and then talk about some of the bugs that are still in the Stonethorn DLC release. So let's jump right into it. Of course, there are fixes on the latest DLC dungeons, being Castle Thorn, Stone Garden, some fixes to enemy abilities, and buffs in the Stone Garden zone. Nothing huge there. But we do have some surprising changes with combat and abilities that I wanted to talk about. So first off, they have been working on fixing the Criminal Axe applied to some skills, specifically Necromancers, Vampires, and Werewolf abilities. Those should once again give you bounty if they're used near any town guards. So keep that in mind. I know there still is potentially a bug with the werewolf form and some guards thinking you're in werewolf form when you're actually not. No news of that being fixed as of yet. But let's hop on down to Mundus Stones and the Thief Mundus. If you remember, this actually got buffed in, I believe it was the first patch for Stonethorn on the PTS. Wouldn't you know it, it's getting nerfed back down again. Let's go ahead and read the developer comment. Along with the precise trait, both of these sources of critical chance have been reduced to our new standard of set bonus efficiency, which we will move to at a more holistic level in a future update. So not a huge change, but kind of strange, that they would buff this initially and then bring it back down. That's about 200 crit rating points, which translates to about 1%. So it's honestly not a huge change. But why they would focus on this instead of some of the other things, which we'll talk about, especially bugs, is a little strange. But let's keep going. So under item traits, precise also seeing a similar nerf, actually a bigger nerf. So reduce the critical chance granted from precise down to 7.2 instead of 8.6. And then with the one-handed weapons, currently they do not get the full amount and are missing 0.1% critical chance. So, I mean, that's a fairly large nerf to the precise trait. You might want to think again about how you're going to use that, if you're going to swap to something else like Nirnhoned or Sharpened. I know I was deciding to run this on a lot of my Stonethorn builds, so I may need to reconsider that. Now, let's talk kind of overall about what is going on with crit chance, because it seems like maybe more nerfs are to come still. Again, the developer comment says this is basically just the start. They're going to move to a more holistic level in the future updates. What that sounds like to me is just kind of a sweeping look at all crit chance bonuses, maybe across the board. I think crit, is a very strong buff in the Elder Scrolls Online. It has been for quite a long time. That is basically the meta in terms of at least PvE content, where you want to get your crit as high as possible. Because those crit strikes are going to do much more damage. And then, of course, we have things like Minor Force and the Shadow Mundus, which are going to buff your crit damage even higher. So I would not be surprised to see them take a look at this maybe in the Q4 release and perhaps bring down crits just across the board. I mean, we've seen that lately where when things are meta, they don't like that there is a meta and they want to make more different builds viable. So you have more options. So I'd imagine we will see more about crit chance in the future very, very soon. And then finally, just a couple of item set fixes. So Arceus, the new Ultimate Gen set from Stone Garden. Pretty interesting set. What was interesting about this set, and probably a bug, was it was never limited to range. So if you were, let's say, in Cyrodiil and your buddy was across the map, you could use this and give them ultimate no matter where they were. So that has been fixed, where they confirm it did have no range applying to its bonus, so that's going to go away. Keep that in mind. And then Titanborn Strength, I thought this was an interesting change as well. This set now only applies the bonuses based on missing health when you're in combat. So they say this will help reduce the amount of kill potential when paired with stealth and self-damaging abilities such as Blood Frenzy. So basically, what they're doing here is they're addressing gank builds, most likely in PvP, where you could be out of combat, you could be in stealth, and you could drain your health a little bit to get that Titanborn proc anytime you want. in order to set up your burst combo on somebody. So there you go. If you're using Titanborn right now, you may want to consider how you're using that and switch it up a little bit. Of course, we got the usual crown store fixes. Those seem to be going through fine, no problem there. And then updates to the code of conduct. So when you log in, you will have to sign those again. But those are the major fixes in this sort of post-release patch. Now, my issue with these is not necessarily the crit nerf. We'll have to see where that goes. I was a little disappointed, honestly, that there are less bug fixes in this patch, because we know that there are some major bugs creeping up in the Stonethorn DLC. I logged in again this morning just to check those out, and one of the worst ones right now, just in case you're not aware of it, is the bug with gap closers. So essentially any gap closer, whether it's, Dragon Knight Leap, Two-Handed Crit Rush, even the Magica Templar gap closer, none of those are actually working in combat in certain PvP instances. So I will link to a thread on the bug forum in case you're experiencing this as well. Please leave your feedback. But this bug has been out since August, and it still has not been addressed. So I am a little bit surprised that there was no fix this week. Hopefully that means they're still trying to figure it out and it's going to work the next patch. But I don't know when the next patch is, so we'll have to see. So just to show you what it looks like, basically when you're loading into either Imperial City or a battleground, your gap closers are not going to work. You can see I have the Templar gap closer here. The range is actually gone from my tooltip, like it's completely disappeared, and it will not work for the entire match. Now that does have something, it seems like it has to do with the chain suppression, like this debuff that you get when you spawn in to either Imperial City or a battleground. And so there is kind of like a workaround that some players have figured out. Again, I will link down to the thread below. So if you want to try to fix this yourself, you probably can, following these steps. Basically, you need to not have the skill on your skill bar when you first load in and then load it on later. But the fact that players have to fix this themselves, even after almost a full month with this bug, is a little bit frustrating, to be honest. So there it is. There's the bug. Again, click the link below if you want more information on it or how to fix it. And hopefully this will get hot fixed in as soon as possible. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed for more ESO content just like this. As usual, thanks for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe, and I will see you around in the next video.